introduce Lieutenant General Madhuri Kanitkar, ABSM, VSM, Deputy Chief Integrated Defense Staff Medical, Member of Prime Minister's Scientific Technology Innovation Advisory Committee, and the Board of Governors, Member of Board of Governors of the Medical Council of India. Ma'am has been a formal dean of FMC Pune, and that is when NQC and teams met Madam when we were doing a quality improvement workshop in FMC Pune a couple of years back. Ma'am is a pediatric nephrologist by training. Ma'am has distinguished fellowships from NUH Singapore and Great Ormond Street Hospital, London. Ma'am has a FAMR fellowship in medical education, and currently ma'am is leading the Integrated Defense Staff Medical at the Army headquarters. Ma'am, welcome, and the screen is all yours.
Thank you so much. I haven't put in any formal slides, but at the outset, I'd like to thank Dr. Datta and all you people of the National QOC team. And I'm very honored to be with this august panel, and my greetings to the entire panel and all the great speakers. To tell you honestly, I don't think I am here as an expert. I'm here to take back things rather than give anything, because I've always been very impressed with these initiatives, including this point of care workshop. And in the armed forces, as it is, the bottom line does come off, everything has to be done with top quality, but the priorities are different. And this whole QI initiative, I must admit, has come to the armed forces only because of our neonatologists and pediatricians. And that is why it's a huge credit to all of you that whether it's the Lakshya program, where it taught us so many things, we've learned a lot from this, and it gives a, as very correctly brought out, as a way of life. I mean, by training, we are not all trained to go things into look at it objectively and bring about a change. I mean, it may be a gut feeling and it's left to very individuals. But when you try to bring about a change, if you can do it on an evidence-based thing where you really identify the gaps before you start doing, I think it's an excellent way. And the first workshop that was conducted in AFMC, where we really got an opportunity, and in the armed forces, the neonatologists are really taking the lead and trying to bring in this thought process in most of the hospitals wherever they are posted. So that, I think, is the first part of it. The second thing is, I think it cannot be isolated or separated as a separate workshop. It has to come into everything. Frankly, it's not even about just medicine. I think point of care and quality initiatives need to, because we need it as a national character. I mean, where we are not really looking at bringing about a change on a very evidence base. So today, where we are having all these even national programs, I think the QI initiative should go into that, whether it is in Digital India or Atmanirbhar or Swachh Bharat, because if you look at them in a more objective fashion and a top-down, bring-down levels where you have time-bound change which you're looking out, and you're looking out for quantifiable outcome. I think that is the biggest difference when you do this whole thing in a very, very structured manner. Otherwise, it is, we try to put in some information, and that information may be at the most translating into knowledge, but really does not come into wisdom at the higher level. At the outset, I want to congratulate the NNF, because not just the Lakshya, but in so many other things that from the beginning, the neonatologists have taken a lead. And I think if you look at national statistics, look at the huge change that has come in mortality, morbidity. If you look at the NHFS data of 1990 and 2016, I mean, there's a paradigm shift. Whereas two-thirds, I'm not sharing, but I have had put in the slides for another talk, where two-thirds of the mortality was, between the under 5, and the whole thing has shifted because of better newborn care. So obviously that has been done in a very structured, very phased manner. So I think this needs to come in into, and I thought Dr. Paul's initiative, what he advised us, excellent to bring it as an, with the competency-based medical education, even at the undergrad level, if it's made into another lecture, they will not accept it. But if it's applied into their competency-based program itself, in fact, we could show a change in quality and align it with the medical education. Because now all colleges have medical education cells, which are experimenting with this competency-based medical education and bringing in, looking at how it's impacting. So this whole process itself, if can be initiated, that we have made a change, because yes, we did identify a gap where medical graduates were learning, preparing more an MCQ kind of questions, where they were just, before they even finished their MBBS, they were more bothered about the MD and MS and their post-graduation. And this whole change which is coming in, whether it's the next exam that's coming in, whether there's a change requirement in the way we are going to handle internship, I think it requires that itself to be taken up as a QI initiative. Because if we could actually objectively say that what are we looking at the gaps and what are we trying to, through these changes, it would have a very quantifiable objective, and it could be implemented in a very beautiful way. So I think as we are all part of the, more, and there are 3 of us on the Board of Governors who are from pediatrics, whether it's Siddharth Ramji, our chairman, Dr. Paul himself, and myself. And I think if somehow we could integrate these two of medical education as a QI initiative, I think that would be a starting point where we would really integrate it, and then it continues into postgraduate education. So I feel a QI is not only point of care and patient care, but it should be brought into the education process itself. So that I thought was one this thing I wanted to share after listening to all those amazing talks that I been listening since morning. The other thing I thought was about, like I mentioned, about national goals. Since the concept is now coming into wellness, and especially there have been, and in the PSA office, we are now taking up this month as a project on a program for mental wellness. So I thought even these programs, if we are trying to initiate them, and I've taken this, a piece of what I've learned from you all, into saying that let's take it as a QI initiative. Instead of just trying to bring in an app, there are dime a dozen apps which are available. So we are thinking of an umbrella project. But I said, before we do that, let's take it up, if possible, as a QI initiative, because that will tell us exactly the magnitude, and then give us whether that impact has a feedback would help us. Unless we do an analysis, I don't think we can. So that's another area where I would be really interested to take this forward. As far as the armed forces goes, I think most hospitals, the neonatologists are struggling. As it is, pediatricians are a very small part of a armed forces medical services, which is more towards the serving soldier, his families. So as in the country, in the armed forces also, we fight for space, we fight for a PICU, we fight for a NICU, we fight for everything. But the beauty is we are like the IUGR babies, because we are born to, struggle and come out winners. We finally make it, and I think that is the survival instincts that we develop, which has taken me to this highest position as the only pediatrician who reached there. I think we don't give up. So having said that, I would like to really encourage, and I'm encouraging all the neonatologists to not just stick to their pediatric wards or the NICU, but to take in these things into the other parts of whether it's our supply chain management, whether it's the administration. I think this is a very important aspect, and I tell them that, quoting Mahatma Gandhi, that be the change you want to see. If you find something wrong, go about it in a very scientific manner. And I think the QI initiatives that you all are teaching us lets us do that in a very objective and scientific manner. A small experience I will share that where I just used it myself. Since telemedicine is the new thing that we are really going about, and COVID has pushed us into this in very fast, and it's been disruptive. Adoption of technology was pretty disruptive because of COVID. I mean, never till then, no one thought of using these platforms to have a conference like this, or for that matter, you know, whether it's medical education, everything is going online. And we started a program for telemedicine in the armed forces called SEHAT. SEHAT stands for Services, E-Health Assistance and Teleconsultation. Now for me to convince, you know, from the CDS down everyone, I really used the PDSA cycle, and I actually put a slide there, conducted a survey, and presented that thing to saying that how much average time which is spent by a person who is going to a hospital for a minor ailment or continuation of care, how much money he's spending to travel up and down, what are his or her fears when it comes to that they might get COVID and therefore they put off going to. So all this was conducted like a survey. The data was presented, and I got you know, an immediate sanction for the POC, and SEHAT was launched in a record of 3 weeks with all the files and things cleared in record time. So I thought I must thank you for, you know, giving me this suggestion and idea which I learned from this society, and put it into implementation. And just yesterday we put a phase 2 of it called Sehat Sakhi. Now this is another program which I evolved from the first one, seeing success, where what one did was, now I went to the women. And Sehat Sakhi is a program specifically for our Jawans' wives and children, and they had separate problem because the husbands are posted out in the field, and they are, you know, separately staying. So I started this program with Delhi, and I went to the PDSA cycle, did another survey, and to my own impressed this thing was 83% of the women were happy to accept it and learn technology to be able to do a teleconsultation. So I went back to the chief's wife and I said, look, this is what, and therefore we need to train these women, and they don't have laptops and things at home, but we need not, that's not required because smartphones, let's, instead of having hundreds of them go across, in every family accommodation. So we've started with 5 pockets in Delhi, and this was launched yesterday. It's a YouTube video is also there, where we have created a small cell, rather in a single one of the houses at the reception thing, where we've kept one, train the women, for the women, by the women, of the women. So we've trained five women in each accommodation. Once a week she comes and helps others log in and take a teleconsultation and collect their medicines. And since it's in a PDSA cycle, I've promised them that within 3 months I'll go back to them with data from how this got implemented, so that it can be implemented across all family accommodations in the country. And I convinced them that when these women go back to the villages, by then we'll have the Android version, they will still have access to universal healthcare and still be able to access a service doctor. So I thought this was a small initiative that a personal experience I thought I would share with you all. And I think, what is there anything? Yes. And the last I did mention about our app on mental health. It's going to be called, we are presenting this proposal to the principal scientific advisor. It's going to be called Manas. And again, we've done a gap analysis, and I hope to take it forward. And I hope to keep learning from you all as to how to do it better. Thank you so much.